Michael, what's the audio this time?
This time I'm going to introduce DA converters, or DACs for short. I tried a DAC made in China, which has been getting a little bit of attention lately.
Which manufacturer?
It's called SMSL.
I've never heard of them.
I had never heard of them either until recently, but I hear it sounds great for the price.
Really? Is it safe if the price is too low?
I thought so too. I've heard mixed reviews on the internet, so I thought I'd give it a try.
Are you going to compare it with other DACs?
That's right. This time, I will introduce SMSL DO300EX and compare DO300EX with Denon DNP-2000NE. The DO300EX features Asahi Kasei's flagship DAC, the AK4499EX chip. This DAC features separate chips for the analog and digital portions. The AK4191 handles digital processing, while the AK4499EX handles analog processing. Previous DACs had a single chip for digital and analog processing, but this DAC has the AK4191 and AK4499EX on separate chips to reduce noise.
So that leads to improved sound quality.
The DO300EX is priced at 62,000 yen on Amazon. In contrast, Denon's DNP-2000NE is priced at 275,000 yen.
The SMSL is 1/4 the price of the Denon. If the SMSL sounds better than the DNP-2000NE, we're screwed. So, what was the result?
As it turns out, the Denon DNP-2000NE sounded better.
I thought you were going to say that the SMSL sounded better.
But when I actually compared them, I felt there was not much difference.
Really? Well, tell me more about it.
Let me introduce the DO300EX. It is about 1/8 the size of the Denon, but it is more solid than it looks. I thought it was a plastic enclosure, but it was made of metal. Accessories are a remote control, power cable, Bluetooth antenna, user's manual, USB-A to C cable, and warranty card. Note that the remote control does not come with batteries. Also, the power cable is 3-pin. If you use a regular household outlet, you will need a 2-pin conversion plug. I have an audio power strip, Krypton's PB150, so I could plug it directly into a 3-pin outlet. Now, let's take a look at the front panel. There is a display, knobs, and headphone jack. There are 2 headphone jacks, 4.4mm and 6.35mm. I didn't try the headphone jack. The knobs are used for setting and volume adjustment. The knob is a click-turn type. The texture of the knob looks cheap. Next is the rear panel. The output terminals are RCA and XLR, and the input terminals are digital coaxial, optical, I2S, and USB Type-C. Then there is a Bluetooth antenna terminal and a power supply. The terminals are gold-plated for a high-end look.
For such a small unit, it has a wide variety of input terminals. By the way, what is the I2S terminal?
I2S is the same cable type as HDMI, but it handles only digital audio signals. I haven't tried it because I don't have any I2S compatible devices. Now the back side. The legs are cheap-looking rubber. Well, considering the price, this is what you get. The remote control can be used for input switching, volume, and some other operations. It also has a dimmer function, so you can change the brightness of the display or turn it off.
What kind of equipment do you use?
I use Amazon Music as the sound source, optical digital output from the DNP-2000NE to the DO300EX using the HEOS smartphone app, SMSL L505Z integrated amplifier with DO300EX's RCA analog output, and B&W's 705S3 speakers. The other connection was made from the RCA analog outputs of the DNP-2000NE to the L505Z without going through the DO300EX. The DO300EX was set to output in the fixed volume mode called Fixed DSD Bypass. Although it is called DSD mode, PCM is also fixed output, and the DO300EX's volume control is disabled.
How different was the sound between the two?
I can say subjectively that the DNP-2000NE has a wider soundstage. Compared to the DNP-2000NE, the DO300EX seemed to have a muted mid to high frequency range. The bass sounded the same.
The Denon was 4 times more expensive, but did it sound 4 times better?
That is a difficult question. Certainly, I felt that the DNP-2000NE sounded better. But I didn't think there was a 4-fold difference in price. The DNP-2000NE's DAC uses 4 ES9018K2M DACs from ESS for each channel, 8 in total. The DNP-2000NE also uses Denon's proprietary Ultra AL32 processing analog waveform reproduction technology. The ES9018K2M is a popular price range product. However, the use of 8 ES9018K2MS, Denon's best upsampling technology, and bit expansion processing probably contributed to its excellent sound. In comparison, the DO300EX uses Asahi Kasei's flagship DAC, the AK4499EX, but only one. It also doesn't have upsampling technology like Denon. There would be no such thing as sound creation, so to speak. The sound quality is the same as AK4499EX. Considering the price of the DO300EX, it's just a chip on a board.
So it still sounds reasonably good.
Yes, it is. The fact that the AK4499EX sounds good as it is can be said to indicate that it is highly capable. So, I highly recommend the DO300EX to those who want a standalone DAC with a low cost.
Was there anything else about the DO300EX that you were interested in?
There have been several comments that the DO300EX produces noise whenever the sampling rate of the sound source is changed. Even if the sound is good, if there is noise every time the sampling rate changes, it is impossible to enjoy the music. In the past, when I used Accuphase DP430 CD player as a DAC, I had to replace it because I was bothered by the relay noise every time the sampling rate changed. But in my test environment, Amazon Music HD, DNP-2000NE, DO300EX, L505Z, there was no noise at all.
Does it depend on the sound source being played?
I think it probably does. It's just a fact that there was no noise in my playback environment. In other environments, noise may appear.
What do you like about the Denon DNP-2000NE?
As I mentioned earlier, the sound quality is good in the mid to high range. The resolution is high. The sound image has a 3-dimensional effect. The DNP-2000NE is superior to the DO300EX in terms of functionality. The DNP-2000NE has a large display that shows the artist name and song title. I can find the song information by looking at my phone, but it is convenient to see the title of the song on the display when I wonder what the song is about. It is convenient to be able to see the title of the song on the display. In comparison, the DO300EX only displays the input signal and sampling rate, which is tasteless. Besides, the DNP-2000NE automatically turns on when a digital signal is input. Input switching is also automatic. This is another convenient feature. The DNP-2000NE also has an HDMI ARC port. HDMI ARC is recommended if you want to enjoy TV audio through audio. With the DO300EX, I have to use the optical or coaxial digital input for signals from the TV.
But if you want to enjoy music with minimal features, why not use the DO300EX?
Yes, that's right. The sound quality of the DO300EX is inferior to that of the DNP-2000NE, but not by much. Considering the price, the DO300EX is doing very well. If you have the budget, the DNP-2000NE is a good choice, but I think the DO300EX will also do the job.
At a little over 60,000 yen, you might as well spend the difference with the DNP-2000NE on speakers.
Exactly. The difference in speaker price is reflected in the sound. I think the total sound quality would be much better if you buy speakers that cost 200,000 yen more.
But is it better to use more DAC chips? The DNP-2000NE has 8 DAC chips and the DO300EX has 1, right?
The more DAC chips you have, the better the sound will be. However, I heard that more DAC chips can reduce noise.
So, does SMSL have a device that uses multiple DAC chips?
The DO300EX is a single DAC, but there is a product called the D400EX that uses 2 AK4499EX.
I'm curious about that.
The DO300EX costs 62,000 yen, while the D400EX costs 139,000 yen, more than twice as much.
So it sounds twice as good?
Just as the DNP-2000NE is not 4 times better than the DO300EX, the D400EX is not twice as good as the DO300EX.
But you still have to try it once.
Yes, I think so. If you have the budget, try D400EX.